Hello and welcome to the kitchen. Today we are making a fall favorite, wild mushroom pasta. We're gonna be using a mix of fresh and dried wild mushrooms to create a dish that's simple but packed with flavor. It's vegetarian comfort food, but with a twist. So let's get cooking. So the important thing about this recipe is to use some really flavorful mushrooms. So I actually love to make this recipe in the fall when there's lots of fresh wild mushrooms available, either in the market or if you like to pick mushrooms. So this is a perfect recipe for any of you out there that love to go mushroom picking. I'll be posting 2 different versions of the recipe online. On the website, you can check out one using fresh mushrooms only and one using dried and fresh. So for today, I'm gonna show you how to use dried wild mushrooms, because those are a lot easier to find for most people. You can get these at any grocery store. This is a mixture of a mix of wild mushrooms. I also am going to be using some dried chanterelles. So in order to use wild mushrooms from dry, what you want to do is take a package. Most of these are about ½ an ounce, 14 grams. You're going to cut the top off, cut or tear, you know. And then you're going to open it up and you're going to dump the entire package. You know, it would help if oh, there we go, I got it. Sometimes you can't get the edge. Then you're gonna dump them into a bowl and then we're gonna cover them with some boiling water. So about 3/4 of a cup should be enough for that amount. Okay, I can always add a little bit more if I need to. Okay, and then it's really important to add something to hold the mushrooms down. So I have a little bowl here, or if you did a bigger amount, you could put like a small lid on there or something. So the other thing that's quite important is you need to let these soak for a minimum of ½ an hour. Sometimes with some of these mushrooms, they might need as long as an hour. So I already have some soaked. I'll just set these aside. And these are ones that I soaked earlier. So that one was a mix. These ones are just straight dried chanterelles. So like I said, you could use either one. I just thought I'd show you different examples. So we are also gonna keep the mushroom liquid. So that's another secret to this recipe. So I'm gonna actually squeeze these dried mushrooms out, okay? And I'm gonna strain this mushroom liquid and keep it. But the next thing we wanna do is you need to slice these dried mushrooms up very, very fine. And actually some of them, this one has a big stem that I'm gonna get rid of actually. Bye-bye stem. And this one as well. So you'll be able to tell if some of them just didn't soak properly. You don't wanna have like tough, chewy pieces in there. Okay, so you wanna mince these up very fine so that you get the flavor evenly distributed all over. So just make sure that it's super, super tiny. So if I was using fresh wild mushrooms, I wouldn't be cutting them this small. But for the dried ones, they have a real intensity of flavor and texture that you really want to help distribute through the whole dish. So that's just how I like to do it. Now I've also got some fresh mushrooms here. So this is ½ a pound, actually probably a little closer to 300 grams, but 250 to 300 grams. And I have a mixture of button mushrooms and oyster mushrooms that I got at the grocery store. And you could use whatever mushrooms you want. All mushrooms taste good. I just wanted to show you, if you do use oyster mushrooms, what you want to do is where they all cluster together at the bottom, you want to cut that off because that stem can be quite tough, and then just cut the cap into thin strips like that. Okay, so we've got all our mushrooms ready to go now, and now let's get cooking. I'm just going to turn this up. Okay, so first we need some butter. Always we need some butter. We're going to do 3 tablespoons of butter, and we're going to get that melted in there. And then we are going to use some shallots. You could use onion if you want, but I really like shallots for this dish. They just provide like a special rich flavor and sweetness that really enhances the mushrooms. Okay, so we got our butter nice and melted and frothy like that. Now we're gonna add our shallots. So this is 2 large shallots, diced small. You want to end up with about 3/4 of a cup of shallots for this. So if the shallots are smaller, you might end up using 3 or even 4. It just really kind of depends on the size of the shallot. So we're gonna get that sauteing. The other thing that's really nice about shallots is they actually cook quite a bit more quickly than onions. This is only gonna be a few minutes. If you want appropriate cooking on onion, you might need like 10 minutes on that. Okay, some of the other ingredients we need, some minced garlic. So I have 3 cloves of minced garlic right here. The other thing I have is fresh thyme. This is 1.5 teaspoons of chopped fresh thyme leaves. I really encourage you to use fresh thyme for this recipe instead of dried thyme. It has a nice sweet flavor, like herbaceous flavor. Often dried thyme can taste kind of, I don't know, muddy or dirty. I can't describe it. So this is where I'd really encourage you to use some fresh thyme. And I do have a great tip on social media about what to do with all that extra fresh thyme that comes in the package to make it last a really long time. All right, this is just gonna be 1 more minute and then we're gonna add our other ingredients to that. I'm gonna get my mushrooms ready, and also I'm gonna just scoop the dried mushrooms into the fresh mushrooms so I can dump them in all at the same time. All right, how are these shallots? Shallots just have such a great flavor. They smell so good when they're cooking. So see how they're nice and softened like that? They're starting to go translucent and they've actually lost their pink color. So that's a good sign of when you can proceed with the recipe. So that happened really quickly. Let's add our garlic. And then we're gonna add our fresh thyme, and it's gonna start smelling amazing in here. It smells so good. It's like heaven. Okay, you don't want to let that go too long because you don't want the garlic to burn. So now we're gonna add all of our mushrooms to that. So it looks like a lot, but don't forget that mushrooms really shrink down when they cook. I'm just gonna put these dishes in the sink. And then I need some salt and pepper. So we've got about 3/4 teaspoon of salt. And remember, when you're making a vegetarian dish, you wanna season a bit more than you think because you're not getting the sodium from the meat. And 1/4 teaspoon of freshly cracked black pepper. We're gonna saute that. And we really wanna get these mushrooms starting to soften and pick up all the flavors from the garlic, the shallots, and the thyme. Oh, I lost a mushroom. We cannot lose mushrooms. We need them. So when I make this in the fall with chanterelles, it's just one of the best things. It's a family favorite. A couple people in our family have birthdays in the fall, and so they always request it. It's just, you know, we're just so lucky living on the coast. We get access to these delicious, beautiful ingredients. Okay, I'm gonna let that saute for a bit. I'm gonna keep an eye on it. Just, we wanna make sure that the mushrooms are moving around. But I wanna talk about a couple other ingredients we need. So one of the things that I always like to include in a mushroom pasta is some dry sherry, okay? So dry sherry just adds a hint of brightness and complexity of flavor that really complements the kind of woodsy, earthy flavor of the mushrooms. So we just need 1/4 cup. You can always add a bit more if you like. Maybe I'll do 1/3 just for giggles. And then we're also gonna keep this mushroom liquid. We're gonna use most of it in the sauce later, and I've got a strainer here because we're gonna strain out any of the gritty bits that fell to the bottom. So I'm just gonna keep that on hand. I also have some whipping cream here that I'm gonna be using. Oh, now I'm starting to really smell those mushrooms. That mushroom smell is really starting to come through. So the other thing that's just so great about this recipe is you can actually make the mushroom sauce ahead of time and then gently reheat it and cook the pasta the next day. You don't really want to rush the process. You really want to cook the mushrooms well. So you can see here now that the mushrooms are starting to give off some liquid. So you want to keep the heat quite high to draw the liquid out of the mushrooms and start evaporating it. You really want to concentrate those mushroom flavors. If you get a little bit of browning, that's really good. You just don't want anything to burn, especially because maybe the garlic and the herbs can burn. But oh my God. If you guys could smell it in here, oh, it's amazing. Okay, these mushrooms are looking great. They still need to cook for a few more minutes. So while they're cooking, we're gonna go out on the road, but don't go away. We'll be back in the kitchen later to put this all together.
Cooking on the Road is brought to you by Whisk Victoria, the small but mighty kitchen gadget store for every home chef.
I'm super excited to be here with Aki with Save to Sea plant-based seafood, and she's going to tell us all about it. Thanks so much for having me.
Yeah, not at all. Thanks for coming today. We are a plant-based seafood company. We make products that are made from whole foods. So we have 5 products in market, 2 smoked salmon products made from a base of carrots.
Right.
And then a tuna salad made from a base of jackfruit.
Okay.
And we just launched a line of plant-based seafood spreads made from a base of cashews.
Okay.
The dill and caper is great for anything you would use smoked salmon on, bagels, meze platters.
Right.
I put it in pasta.
Okay.
And then the original, that's really good for Asian applications
Okay.
where you don't want that dill and caper
Right,
flavor.
right.
So
Gotcha.
yeah,
Like
there's
sushi.
poke bowls.
Okay.
Salads, pizzas. I mean, I've done.
You've done it all. You've done it all. Okay,
everything.
so sell it to me for someone who eats fish. Why would they be interested in this?
Our core customer definitely skews vegan
Yeah.
slash vegetarian.
Yeah.
But you would be surprised how many people cannot eat seafood because of allergies.
Right.
If you're pregnant,
Right.
farmed seafood is high in toxins.
Yeah.
Like over half of smoked salmon is farm salmon.
Yeah, right. The brand is Save to Sea, so I'm imagining this is also to take the load off of the demand on the fisheries.
100%. Yeah. Consumption of seafood is projected to start dropping by 2030 because we are running out of supply of many key species.
Yeah.
And so our whole goal is just to minimize our reliance on the oceans and provide an alternative. Today we are making our plant-based smoked salmon.
Okay.
This is our dill and caper flavor.
Ooh, it smells. I can smell the dill and caper already.
We have Jeremiah and Christine, who are part of our small but mighty team. So we slice the carrots, cook them to soften them to a texture that's
Similar to
similar
fish.
to
Yeah.
smoked salmon. You got it. And then we marinate it, and so we're now packaging it.
So very fresh, whole foods, nothing fishy.
Well, and that's it. Yeah, the whole plant-based industry has been painted with this brush that everything's ultra processed, and this couldn't be further from the truth.
They look really, really good. I would love to try some.
Oh yeah, for sure. Let's do it. This is our plant-based smoked salmon with dill capers, and this is our plant-based tuna salad, and that's made from a base of jackfruit. We make our own vegan mayo in there. It's a ready-to-eat tuna salad.
Let me try the salmon first.
Okay.
I'm excited.
Yeah, so I've put that, just like you would with smoked salmon, there's a little bit of vegan cream cheese underneath.
Yeah, like you can really taste the smokiness, the dill. Like it's a really good dupe for smoked salmon. That's delicious.
Thank you.
I love it. Okay, I can't wait to try the tuna salad. Let's see. Ooh. I don't know that if someone just gave that to me on a cracker, that I don't think I would know that it wasn't tuna, honestly.
Yeah, I mean, that product is indistinguishable from tuna. People have told me that it's better than tuna.
It's quite tasty. I mean, maybe not better than my tuna salad, but many tuna salads I have had, this is better than. That is delicious.
Thanks, I'm so glad you like it.
Yes, thank you so much. So where can you get these products?
Yeah, so we are available in grocery stores across Canada.
Across Canada, okay, congratulations.
Yeah, thank you. And then, of course, Country Grocer.
That is amazing. Congratulations on an excellent product. Thanks so much for giving me the tour and the samples.
Yeah, no, thanks so much for coming by.
Cooking on the Coast is brought to you by Country Grocer with 11 convenient locations across Vancouver Island and Salt Spring.
Okay, this is looking great. It's simmered for a couple minutes and you can see how it's concentrated, reduced. These mushrooms have plumped up, absorbed flavors and richness. This is great, and our pasta is done. So I am going to just drain this pasta, but before I do that, I'm gonna do something very important, which is keep some of the pasta liquid, okay? You always wanna keep some when you're making a sauce like this, especially, I guess I wouldn't call this a white sauce necessarily, but a sauce that doesn't have like a ton of tomato and liquid. The pasta water provides a bit of starch and creaminess and just helps like loosen up the sauce and helps it stick to the noodles better, etc. So I'm gonna go drain that now. We're gonna dump the pasta right in here. Let me just get rid of that, just because I like to have a clean cooking area. Okay, so very important now, we're gonna add some of the pasta cooking liquid to this. I'll just start with maybe like half of what I scooped out. And then we're gonna stir that around. So I always like to put the pasta directly into the sauce because then the pasta has a chance to really absorb the flavors from the sauce and just, get really good. And the pasta doesn't stick together then, when you are serving it later. I'm gonna definitely put more pasta cooking water in there, and I'm also gonna add some more whipping cream. Whipping cream. So about a quarter cup more, but this is the kind of thing you measure with your heart, All right, let's mix that up. Oh, this looks so good. It smells so good. I'm not even like the biggest fan of mushrooms. I love the flavor of mushrooms, but I sometimes struggle with the texture. But these have been cooked so slow and so gently that they just kind of melt in your mouth. So good. Look at that. Okay, we'll let that simmer for just a little bit, for the flavors to blend together and meld together. We're gonna make sure we get all these little mushrooms. I'm so excited to serve this up. Okay, we'll let that go. And now I'm gonna get out a couple of bowls for when we're ready to serve it. I always like these nice shallow bowls. And we have a couple garnishes ready here. We've got some freshly grated Parmesan and some chopped fresh parsley just for that little tiny hit of color. And I'm also just gonna taste this and make sure that there's enough salt. I did salt the pasta water. You always wanna make sure to salt the pasta water. Just otherwise, because pasta itself is very bland and the sauce by itself cannot carry all the flavor. All right, let me just grab a fork and give this a little taste. Hopefully I don't burn my mouth off. This is like burn your mouth off territory, okay. I'm gonna add just a little pinch more salt and pepper. Sorry, I'm just excited. I like that. I like this. Everyone gets to listen to me grunting over how good my food is. Okay, this looks really nice. Do I have any more pasta water? I'm just gonna add a tiny bit more pasta water just to loosen this up slightly. You don't want it to be too dry. We're gonna turn that off. Okay, now I'm gonna throw in most of this parsley. I'm gonna save some of it for garnish, but we'll just throw some in there. That was about a quarter cup of fresh parsley. I've turned off the stove now. I'm just stirring this parsley. Just adds a hint of freshness. Okay. Now, let's serve this up. Oh, actually, I'm gonna put some cheese right in it and then more cheese on the top. That can never be a bad thing, right? Extra cheese, extra parm. Oh, the smell of freshly grated melting Parmesan has just sent this over the edge. All right, let's get a serving spoon and we will serve that up. I want to make sure everybody gets some mushrooms. Do one. Oh, so beautiful. I feel like I'm in a fancy restaurant. Trying to make sure they're the same size. There we go. Okay, we'll sprinkle just a wee bit more parsley. You don't need too much. And then we will also put, hang on, I need a bit more in the other one, sorry. There we go. I miscalculated. Okay, a bit more parsley. And then a whole lot of freshly grated Parmesan cheese right on the top. All right. There we go. Earthy mushrooms, creamy sauce, perfectly cooked pasta. This dish is rich, comforting, full of deep, savory flavor. It's simple ingredients with a big payoff.
Hang tight. We've got the perfect pour to go with this plate. Coming up next.
Pairings are brought to you by Liquor Plus. Discover the plus.
Our wild mushroom pasta is a vegetarian wonder full of deep, rich, savory flavor. And I'm really interested to know what you'd pair with a dish that's an elegant vegetarian dish.
Shannon from Liquor Plus is here to help us out. Welcome, Shannon.
Hi, nice to see you.
Thanks for coming.
So Pinot Noir.
Pinot Noir.
Always for me, it's one of my favorite pairings.
Mushrooms and Pinot Noir?
Mushrooms and Pinot
Okay.
Noir. So savory, fruity, they just go well together.
Okay.
So this is Stoneboat Winery from the Okanagan. Stoneboat has actually been around for quite some time. They planted their vineyards in the last part of the 70s, which for Okanagan is
Pretty
quite
old,
long.
yes.
I think what makes this wine really special is their vineyards are planted on what they call a gravel bar. The rocks soak up a lot of sun during the day and then radiate the heat kind of back into the vineyard at night.
Clever.
You know, you talked about like kind of like elegant, sort of flavorful dish. That's really what this Pinot is.
All right, well, let's
Yeah.
try it out. Cheers.
Cheers.
Yeah, that's really good. It's
just very pretty.
Smooth, yeah.
So
Pretty, I like this. I like your wine descriptors.
so
very good.
So it spends about a year in oak, so I think that's where you get that really smooth kind of
yes.
like softness about it.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I brought a few other labels here too. They do two labels. There's Stoneboat label and then Valley Commons, and Valley Commons is more of their playful, kind of innovative flow.
Okay, and this is more classic and traditional.
Correct.
Kind of to go with our elegant mushrooms,
Yes.
which we should
Yes.
now try. Ooh, I'm excited to try this. That was really good.
There's just nothing better than mushrooms. It's so good.
You love it?
Just very simple, but so flavorful.
It's all about the technique. I'm gonna try it with this wine. Yeah, that is a really
So
good
what's the
pairing.
technique?
You gotta cook the mushrooms for a long time.
Okay.
You know, to build the flavors, you get the shallots, the garlic, then you really cook the mushrooms until all the liquid's driven out, brown.
Right.
Then you deglaze with sherry, then you add the wild mushroom liquid,
Okay.
cook it again.
So you keep the liquid after you soak
after
the
you
mushroom.
soak the dried mushrooms,
Okay, cool.
and then the cream. Yeah, it's just about building those layers and like really honoring the mushroom.
Okay, I like that, honoring the mushroom. And it's not too creamy.
No,
you know,
just a bit
enough.
of cream. Yeah, just a bit of cream. So good.
We live in the perfect place to forage for mushrooms. So
Totally.
it's such a great
Yeah.
fall kind of thing.
Exactly. That's when I make this the most. Is in the
Cool.
fall when we're foraging for mushrooms.
Yeah, I love
I'm
it.
gonna try. This is a really great pairing. I like
Perfect,
it.
cool.
Yeah. It just like it just brings it all together.
It's bright, right?
Yeah.
It's cool.
Well, thank you so much. That was another excellent pairing.
Yeah, I'm glad it worked out. Thank you for having me.
Thank you for joining us.
And thank you for joining me in the kitchen. I'm Chef Heidi Fink. Until next time, keep it simple, keep it savory, and remember, the more you learn, the better it tastes.
Ooh, I have to have another bite of this for sure.
So remind me what the mushrooms were again.
So there's just like button mushrooms and oyster mushrooms and then some dried wild chanterelles.
I'm glad it worked with the Pinot.
It did, it really did.